All right, guys, so let's get into the NFL DFS slate, the main slate. So we're going to start off with the quarterbacks as always. Starting off on the top end, we do have Kyler Murray here, who I think I like the most. It's going to be the one I would pay up for, and that's just mostly because we know, he's been a cash option pretty much since week 3 for us, and that's just because he has steady points. His lowest output was 17 DK points. That was against the Seattle Seahawks. Other than that, 19 DK points or more. He's averaging 23 DK points on the year, going against the New York Giants, who that's a team that we have been targeting in DFS. So I really do like that play. The only problem with that play is that he's priced up quite a bit. We're not getting the savings like we were earlier on in the year. Obviously, we got Josh Allen here, who that's going to be a pretty easy play. He definitely has the upside, and you can definitely stack him with some value plays in there, so I don't mind that. That's definitely only going to be a GPP play for me. The problem I'm struggling with on the slate mostly is just the prices. They're really soft in some positions and really priced up in others. Like the quarterback position, there's not like a great value play. We definitely go with Jared Goff here, who other than, week 1 against Carolina, who we found out is actually a good defense. And then also, last week against San Francisco, who we also found out is good defensively. Other than that, he's been pretty solid. He's going against the Atlanta Falcons, who we know are one of the worst defenses. If Todd Gurley's out, again, I do expect him to throw the ball a little bit more. You can easily stack him with all 3 of the Rams receivers. Moving a little bit lower, I don't really love anything here. You could play Kirk Cousins if you wanted to. You could play Jacoby Brissett if you wanted to. Just after that, maybe Mitchell Trubisky here going against the Saints. If he's back and not limited at all, he definitely could go off GPP play only. If I wanted to dip down below 5K, it would actually be Ryan Tannehill. Now, I'm not expecting anything great from him, but at under 5K, we're only looking for 3X, so 15 DK points, not even that. I do think he can get there going against the Chargers, who just haven't looked good on defense recently. So, if you want to go that route, you definitely can. I don't really like going that route. All right, moving on to running backs here. There's a ton of value in the running back spot. I think we could start off with Dalvin Cook here going against the Detroit Lions. I really don't mind that. But I just don't see the point of doing that route with that. I'd rather just go with Leonard Fournette here. Let's look at it. So Leonard Fournette, 7K, I don't get it. We've been on him quite a bit this year already. His lowest targets was 3 against Denver, and that's just because he dominated on the ground. Other than that, they've all been over 6, which is great. He's getting the touches. I don't want to use the lock word, but going against the Bengals, who are one of the worst against the run, they just get gouged via the run game. I like that play a lot for Leonard Fournette. You could easily play him. Chris Carson, I don't think he's priced up enough, so I really don't mind that play. Tevin Coleman here. This is another play where I just don't really get the price. So Tevin Coleman, he should have had another touchdown last week, and if he did, his price would definitely be a lot higher here, I think. If you guys didn't see it, Jimmy Garoppolo kind of threw a really bad ball, and then Tevin Coleman dropped it. So they kind of both made a bad play, but it was an easy walk-in touchdown. You could have tossed it underhand to Tevin Coleman, and he would have scored. It was just kind of a fluky play, but the main thing here is that Tevin Coleman is the goal line back, and he's getting the touches. We want to look for volume from our running backs, and he had over 20 touches, or he had 20 touches last week, 21 opportunities. So we really do like that play quite a bit. Going against the Washington Redskins, he should easily exceed the value there. And then let's talk about it. You could play Matt Breida too in that same matchup if you wanted to. Tevin Coleman did lead in snap counts. So Frank Gore here. I just like this play. Going against the Miami Dolphins, they should be able to dominate. He should at least get 17 carries here. Maybe he catches a pass or 2, but it's not hard to imagine him scoring a touchdown or even 2 and going for 70 yards rushing. I do like that play a lot. At this price point, it's really not too bad. Then going a little bit lower, we got Josh Jacobs here going against the Green Bay Packers. Don't want to touch on that play too much, but I do like that price point quite a bit. And then going from our only value play last week, let's touch on it. Where is he? He's questionable right now. But we got Mark Walton here. So he was the only value play we recommended last week, and it just seemed like he took over, for that running back 2 spot, which technically is the starting running back, but we all know Kenyon Drake's going to be the leading toucher there. But Mark Walton, still like this. I don't think he's going to get used quite as much in the passing game. But all we really want from someone at 3.2K is going to be like 10 DK points. And I don't think that's too hard to imagine him getting this. Yes, the Bills are a lot more tough of a matchup than the Washington Redskins. But still, I just don't mind that price point. Yeah, you could play someone like Darrell Henderson if Todd Gurley sits, if you want to do that. All right, going a little bit, actually moving on to the receivers here. I don't think we have to play any of these guys in the top end. Rather just go with Cooper Kupp going against the Falcons there. I already touched on this matchup. Targets have still been solid. He still had 6 last week. Other than that, his lowest target total was 9. At this price point, I still don't mind it. We could just put him into the build and just hope that Jared Goff had a horrible 1 week and that it's going to bounce back for the whole offense. Because after that, though, there's nothing that I really like for cash. Now, obviously, you can stack all these receivers with the quarterback that I already touched on. Kenny Galladay is a play that I do want to touch on. So Minnesota really hasn't been that good against guarding receivers so far this year. Kenny Galladay has seen over 8 targets in every game this year. I really do like him as a play. The only time he didn't is the only time he should have dominated. I don't take that for what it's worth, but still, the guy has been a stud. He's priced under 6K still somehow. I don't get that price point, so I do like that play. Calvin Ridley should be a little bit better play as well with if Jalen Ramsey plays, or if he doesn't. If Jalen Ramsey plays, you got to imagine that he's going to be shadowing Julio. Kind of tough to gauge that, but don't mind that play at that price point. Brandon Cooks, we know he's going to be due to go off at some point. We saw it with Will Fuller. He finally went off. Brandon Cooks is due to go off, and he's been pretty decent so far this year. You could play Cole Beasley going against the Miami Dolphins. I don't mind that play, but, Auden Tate, he's gotten a ton of targets. Dante Pettis here, just real quick. He got tackled inside like the 2-yard line twice last week, and he almost came down with a really nice touchdown catch. 1 foot in, 1 foot out last week. Saw 6 targets. He scored in week 3. Then we all know in week 5 he had that slant route that he probably could have taken to the end zone as well. I'm just saying the production is almost there. If he gets one of those touchdowns, people are going to be looking at him a little bit more. It's a pretty decent matchup going against the Redskins. It's not going to surprise us if Dante Pettis goes for 20 DK points next week. John Brown's currently injured, so maybe Duke Williams becomes a decent value play. He took over for Zay Jones last week, or 2 weeks ago now. Saw 4 targets, 4 receptions, and a touchdown. Big body player. Don't mind that. And then going a little bit lower even. So we got Jake Kumaro as a value play for the Green Bay Packers. We know the receiver situation. They're really banged up. And then you got Alan Lazard actually at 3K right now. That's also going to be a good play. But in that same game, let me find it real quick. Nope, passed it. So in that same game, we have Trevor Davis, the former Packer, who got used a decent amount, pretty much the last 2 games. His first game there, he got used in the rushing game. Obviously had that 1 big play. And then last week, 4 targets. Just a play to monitor if Tyrell Williams is ruled out. All right, moving on to the tight ends here. So the tight ends position is kind of difficult this week because obviously Evan Ingram's in a smash spot, especially if Sterling Shepard's out. I do like this play quite a bit. The targets have been there every single week. The production has pretty much been there every single week. We've seen him go off twice, once for 31 DK points and once for 26 DK points, and then kind of okay performances. But obviously the matchup is great. We don't love the price point, but the target should be there, and he could easily go off again. But the problem here is that you got Mark Andrews, 4.9K for some reason. The targets have been there for him each and every week. I just don't get this price point. Really do like to play 7 targets or more every game. Seattle's not the best defense against guarding tight ends, so I don't mind that. Darren Waller here going against the Green Bay Packers. That seems definitely too cheap. But then we got Hunter Henry here, priced at 4K. The problem with this, any other week, if the tight ends were priced accordingly, this would be kind of a free square, but it's not because Mark Andrews and Darren Waller are intriguing as well. But still, 2 games so far this year, over 10 DK points. This just seems kind of like a free square. I'll probably play him quite a bit. Then going with defense, if you can afford to pay up for the Bills, I would definitely suggest doing that. If for some reason the Redskins decide to start Dwayne Haskins, 49ers are intriguing as well. Actually, they're both good plays right there on the top end. And then after that, I think if I'm not playing one of those two, I'm just going to pay down for the Dolphins D or Redskins D. Either or, they're not too bad. I don't think either of them are going to go negative. Redskins D has been sneakily decent as well, so none of those plays are going to be too bad for you.